So what are you looking on defense? So my defense, I have keys, as a coach. Three things I look at. I want to win rebounding battle on defense. I want to be always plus 10 overall. I want to keep my opponent under 42% field goal percentage overall, and then 30 from three-point field goals. And we need transition and fast break battles. So if I can win that battle, which is our goal as a team, to get about 8 or 10 points out of transition baskets, if I can win that, let's say I get 8, other team got 4, that means I won that battle. So I try to play this defensive strategy, defensive games, game within the game. You try to play that. So if I can win those battles one by one, I will have a better shot of winning that game, no matter who I play. I could play number 1 team in the state or the reverse team in the state, depending on whatever the case is. So those are the keys I do focus on. Everybody as a coach, has different keys. So, that's one thing I learned as a coach in the U.S. You must prioritize things for your coaching style. Again, some coaches like to get 25 turnovers. Some coaches like to have, we've got to shoot 45% from threes. Some coaches want to have 20-plus assists on offense. So there are a lot of different details that goes into the stat sheet. There are also stuff like loose balls, not on the stat sheet. Deflections, not on the stat sheet. Talking, not on the stat sheet, like rotations on talking on defense. These are not in the paper. However, we do have a system that we keep that I have 3 assistant coaches who work with me. One of them just solely keeping those non-statistical aspects. Again, loose balls, deflections, and talking. And then putting a hand up on a shooter. So all those stats we try to keep to help us, understand why we won, why we lost the game. Because stat sheet at the end sometimes doesn't give you the entire picture. So that's something that I'm trying to, I learned again over the course of my coaching career in the U.S. So what do you do on defense? Like, what do you do in practice to get those going? So what we do is, we focus on forcing tough shots. So it means that we make sure you always have a hand up on the shooter. And then that way, and then we, depending on, again, it's all about preparation to see what we have, who we're facing. So in the scouting approach, I'm not sure, Mohammed, can I share some paper stuff here while we talk?
Yes, I have to allow you.
Okay. If you do that, I'll share once we do that. I'll share a couple pages of stuff that I have.
Yes, you can now share something.
Perfect. I'll do that in a few seconds. Stay in balance in defense is very, very important. You have to stay in balance. You cannot close out wild. What's going to happen is the offensive player is going to go by you. So make sure that you teach in defense in practices, chop your feet, close out, but make sure that you don't just go out of control. So you don't just jump, don't react. Always react with your hands, not with your feet. If you react with your feet, you're going to be off balance. You're going to be exploded as a defensive player. They're going to go by you easily, especially in the U.S. with so many quick players. Before you know it, they are at the rim, and it's too late to recover. So we try to teach that a lot in practices. On defense, we give multiple efforts. Let's say you closed out, the guy went by you. You still got to try to hustle and get back. If somebody helped you, you try to help them. So defensive strategy-wise, we have to be focused on that a lot in practice. We have drills that we do. One player. Let me just try to draw it up on the board to kind of explain it a little bit easier. Once you do this, let's say we have a guy in X and O has the ball here. We have, let's say, offense, defense, defense, offense. Let's say there's 3 guys in here. So let's say he goes by as defender. Idea is making sure, let's put everybody in here, making sure we help. So if he goes by as defender, depending on who this guy is and what we tell the opposite, our defender. If this is a really good shooter, in our book, really good shooter is about 40+%. If he's below 40+%, we usually don't worry about he's a good shooter percentage. B, if he's a really good shooter, he stays home. He does not help. So because he does not help, now rotation has to come from here, this side. So when that happens, what is in defense, we see a lot of lobs in NBA or professional basketball. In lower levels, 16 U's, 18 U's, 14 U's, they usually drop down right here to the offensive player for a layup. So what we teach is, as soon as this happens, he yells. Again, this defender has to talk. He starts yelling, help, help. When that happens, we know everybody rotates. So this guy rotates here, this guy rotates in front of this, and then top guy has to drop in the middle. So now we have 3 guys rotating in help, just in case he gets in and makes play. And then, again, he's staying home right here. So this is one of the things that we work on defense a lot, to make sure that everybody helps each other, and then do not give up easy baskets at the rim. And remember, this is a higher percentage shot than here or here, right? Because these are long distances. You got to try to shoot a 3-point shot, and it's lower percentage. So you play the percentages, and then do not let people get to the rim. And to keep our biggest area thing is, we want to keep everybody, let me show this, we want to keep everybody outside the painted area. This is a restricted zone, we call it. Nobody can come in. If someone is in there from offense, they must be in trouble. Either someone is not doing their job, or there was a miscommunication happened at one point. And then you have a couple of those breakdowns that will result in a timeout and a talk with the team. We don't want to keep anything like that open. So we have to, other thing we teach our players in practice is the mentality piece. Basketball could be a very flashy sport, right? You could get dunked on like so quickly, depending on, again, what level you are playing. We out-coach high school basketball. However, we have players in my team and other teams, taller, athletic, who can dunk in game easily and make statements. However, remember, at the end, it's a 2-point basket. It's not a 20-point basket. We try to teach our players. So let's say you got dunked on. So what? Move on and try to make it up. That's why basketball is such a great sport. Unlike other sports like, soccer, footballs, and all that. It's such a different, because you can make it up in the next 20 seconds on the opposite end of the court by getting an offensive rebound, scoring, or getting back on defense and taking a charge, deflection, whatever the case is. You can get a positive play so quickly that we try to, we preach on that so hard with everybody, with our players, have them understand that they don't have any, breakdowns. Do we have kids in our teams? Like, I have a team of kids from 14 to 18 years old. I have a couple 14-year-olds in our team who are very talented and very skilled players. They are mentally not there yet. So with basic plays like that, they will kind of shut down, but you teach it. That's what you do. You patiently teach them and be positive about that. Be a student of the game. The other piece we teach. Like, let's say you're a player, you play a good amount of minutes, you come out the game, you're on the bench, what do? Do you just watch the game to watch the game? Which is like, like the fans. Fans there to watch the game and have fun and support. Coaches and players there to win the game. So as a coaching staff, what do? You always try to analyze the game while it's happening, right? Everybody have different perspective. Everybody has different roles in our bench. That's why you try to teach our players. If you're playing, because some guys not in the rotation, they don't play much, or they don't play at all, but the guys who are playing that 8-10-man rotation, you tell them, when you come out the game, make sure you watch what is happening on the court. Because you could see something that you have not seen while you are playing, which means it could be the person you are guarding, he has a go-to move that we couldn't find out in our scouting report, could help you. So stuff like that is so important. We try to help our players understand. And then again, it is not easy to do. So when it comes to, again, we talked about defenses, right? So we have a number for every defense. Our half court man-to-man defense pack line, which is the defense. I'll show this over here too. Let me just delete this. Pack line defense, you may have heard of it before. It's one of the most common defenses from old school American basketball coaches. It's been played. So you have basically no denial. It's a half-court defense. There's a ball here. Our defender is here. He's in arm length. He's not denying. But everybody else, let's say they have a guy here. Everybody else from our team is not denying anything there on the help side. If you guard on this side, you must have a foot on the elbow. You guard on this guy, you must have a foot at the elbow. You guard on this guy, you must have a foot inside the paint. So everybody is staying packed to avoid any kind of drive from anybody. He's not denying. He is basically, keeping an arm length. So that way, even if this guy's quick and he can go by, he's nowhere to go to get into the painted area you worry about a lot. So you force him to pass the ball around. You force other teams to shoot outside shots more often. Again, this is what works for every level. NBA is different. Professional EuroLeague is a little different because, again, all those players are really good. And then you have shooters all over the places. So you cannot play this defense in professional levels as easy. You can play it heavily in college and high school levels, 16Us, 17Us, 15Us. You can play it easily. It's not a zone defense. It's a man defense. It just, everybody is inside in help position at all times. Ball gets swung to the left side. He comes up, arm length, and then this guy goes down here. So they change spots. It comes up, they change spots. So they are staying in man-to-man. However, again, it is something that you don't give up easy driving lanes. There's help everywhere. So it does help us a lot. We use this a lot in our team. It's a pack line defense. We have a 5, which is a deny everything defense. Again, depends on your personnel. My team last 2 years here at my school did not have that kind of personnel to deny everything. We had a couple of good athletes, but not everybody was as quick as you can deny. Because denial is risky defense because you're trying to basically get deflections and trying to get the steals. So let's say ball is here. He's in denial. Up the lane. Up the lane means you basically get in between ball and your man. So you have an arm extended fully in the passing lane. This is the passing lane. You have arm extended. So if he wants to catch the ball, if this is a three-point line and you try to throw it out, he wants to catch the ball outside as far as possible. So that way, when he catches the ball from here, what is he going to do? Is he going to try to shoot? Not going to happen. So we always deny. So if ball gets here, he's in denial. Everybody's in denial. It's a risky defense, depending on what you do with your, what kind of personnel you have as a team. This is good with a lot of athletes. You see this kind of defense in college levels, and then some high school level, like 18Us and 17Us does, because you have enough athletes to do such a thing. It's a high risk, high reward defense. You can get a lot of deflections, a lot of steals. Like the last 2 years, the state champion here in our state, the same team, they did this defense. And that it is very effective because they had 8 or 9 athletes. Because you cannot play this kind of defense with high intensity for entire game. It's impossible. So they had enough guys coming off the bench to sub out and then get these denial situations and then keep up the pressure at all times. And, again, they did beat teams by 40, 50 points. It was pretty heavy wins. They played us, however, this year. We lost to this team who won the state title this year. We lost them early in this season. but we lost in overtime by 2 points because we had numbers too. We had about 9 guys, 10 guys rotate, and this denial defense, we beat that with back doors, a lot of backdoor action, so they could not deny as much as they wanted to, and then that disrupt their game. So again, there was a little offensive piece there. Let me see. I'm looking at my notes. So stuff I want to share with you guys quickly. So preparation is the key, right? So what we look at is you're looking at things like, go see other teams play. It is a big part of our plan. We have to see teams play to prepare for them. Even in high school, I personally like to see every team we're gonna play at least once, either live or via film, depending on what it is. But we always, even if I cannot see it, we always have at least an assistant go see other teams play at all times. So let me see if I can try to share this. Share screen. All right, let's see. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Everybody can see what I have on the board. Muhammad, can you see it?
Yes, I can see you.
Okay.
I
So
can
this
see
is
it.
a
Yeah.
very simple sheet that my assistant coaches keep when they go watch games. Defensive summary. Again, there are a lot of items here. You're looking at what defense do they use most? Man, zone, what kind of zone? 2-3-3-2-1-3-1. There's do they have tight pressure man defense? Do they deny the wings? Again, all this stuff is very important to see what kind of defense they do, so we can prepare. Offensively, what do you do? What do they do? Do they have fast break offense? Do they anyone early lead caps? Some teams in a strategy, when the shot goes up, the shooter's defender splits. He goes. So if rebounds happen, a lot of teams work on that, get the rebound, and do a baseball pass far ahead for a wide open layup. And then the thing about giving up 3 or 4 of those plays a game, that's 6 to 8 points. It is a lot of points when it comes to trying to win the game on defensive battle. Do they have pick and roll a lot? Do they do that? Some teams do, some don't. Who their best player is? Who are their best shooter or best shooters? Some teams have 3 or 4 shooters. They could be dangerous to play against. Are they a good offensive rebounding team? Do they get after rebounds? Again, rebounding is one of the keys I always pay attention to and then value a lot. And we want to make sure that we box out if we have to rebound. Can they handle pressure? Can we press them full court or half court? Those are all stuff that we always look into. And then a little game summary. Again, this is a 2-page document that all my assistants have. And again, this could be a lot longer. This is very small. There's a very small box right here, but it could be a lot more. Game summary, like what the team do. Did they jump ahead early in the game, or did they start the game, hot in the third quarter? Whatever the case is, so it's a lot of things that they wrote down here. They see within the game, and then any signals they can catch from opposing coach. That's very important. What are their main defense, offense? So those are things they keep and write down here. And then the very basic, again, this is anybody can do this. Is very simple stuff. We try to keep personnel stuff, player number, name, position, grade, height, and then strength and weaknesses. We try to keep points and rebounds. This is not a big thing usually, but we want to know if the guy got 18 rebounds in that game. It means we have to box him out. Or someone made 7 for 10 from 3-point line. Make sure you be close out on them. So things like that, we keep notes. And then again, it's like up to 10, 11 players, but it's usually about top 7, 8 players you look at. So that kind of helps us. From there, I'm going to go into what we share with our high school team. Okay, we share a 1-page scouting report. This is the team we played. They were pretty good. They were 4-3 at the time, but they were playing some very strong schedule. And this is from this year, so 1/13/2020, from January. As you can see, we put down a few items for offensive tendencies, for our players to read. And now look at the personnel. They had a 6'10" kid who was really good. I mean, you know, 6'10". Again, what is that in Turkish? I can't remember the centimeters. I'm sorry, I've been far away for a while.
Which one?
6'10" in US measurement. What is it in Europe? Is it like 215 or something like that? 212? What is it?
Maybe it's something like that. I don't know. I'm not familiar with Turkish so much.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are stuff you look into and then figure out if, you know, what they do. Will take open threes, good rebounder, active defensively. Again, this is a scoring report we use for high school. Again, it's very minimized, to the point, and it gives certain details. And there was their 5 starters, and then their 3 guys comes off the bench. And what do they do on defense? They were a 1-3-1 defensive team, and they trap in the corners, and then they do a little bit of half-court 1-2-2 press. And at the end, we put some keys, what we need to have. ABs are team act in Boxborough to win the game. Some keys at the end. This could be just one key at times. Could be 5 or 6, could be 2, depending on the game and who we're playing. So we share this with our team before every game. We watch teams play so we can prepare our defensive strategies on what we're gonna do. Offense strategies, what we're gonna do is key that it helps us a lot in the long run. Again, when I was in college levels, this scoring report could be about 4 or 5 pages. You give more details because you got more time your guys to spend. You can give you can put pictures of the number 31's picture, headshot, who it is, so kids can put a face to the number and can remember it easier. High school, we kind of dumb it down a little bit and make it a little smaller, but so because they don't have as much attention to detail, patience, so to keep that. So those are 2 things, and then I'm not sure if you can. This is a little sideways. You won't be able to see this fully. This is the card I keep in my pocket every game. You know, our man plays, zone plays, spatial plays. You know, our zone defense, man defense, spatial defenses that we keep. So, you know, some of the keys we do in these, you know, you can see in the spatial defenses 1-2, 2-2,
Excuse me, coach. You're gonna show another thing. So we just have this table, player number and name and position.
Okay, let me see.
You have to stop it, and after that share another thing.
Can you see the color one with the man zone?
No.
You don't see that one? Okay. So let me see. Let me close the other ones. So okay, let's see. I'm gonna try it one more time. Start over. Now, can you see this one now?
Yes.
Okay. So again, this is a little sideways. I'm sorry. This is how it came out.
Can you rotate that?
Let me see. Should be able to rotate it. All right. Oh.
It's
close. Just go back to the screen. Yes. Hold on 1 second. Where's my screen? I guess I shut it down for some reason. I'll pull it up again. All right, let's see. All right. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's doing that. It's just keeping it back. Yeah, for some reason I cannot turn this around. Let's see, view. All right, view.
If you can't, no problem. Keep going on like that.
I'm not sure if I can.
Okay, no.
Do what? So it's a little sideways. I'm sorry for that. But when you look at it, again, this is the play card I keep with all the men offense, zone offense, spatial plays. You know.
Would you please share that again?
This is the one I keep with me, and my assistants have that.
Yeah, I know. Would you please share your screen? Now I just can't see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. 1 second. I share screen. All right, here we go. Can you see it now?
Yes. Keep
Okay.
going.
Yeah. Again, I'm not sure if I can flip it for some reason, but this is what we have with
Okay.
men plays. I can send these to Mohammed. He can have it. If anyone wants to share,
Okay, thank you.
Zone plays, man defenses, special defenses here in the bottom. And then this is some names of our players. What do we need for a 3-point lineup, defensive lineup, free throw lineup? So you have some ideas, even though, when the season goes on, you already know your guys. But it's always always good to see that on paper as well. So let's see, go back to this. So, so you're looking at, again, defensive strategies. So we're going to look at press. Let's say we do a lot of, soft press full court, which is we don't trap as much, but we want to make sure that we stall some time because they have about 30 seconds to get, score. You try to slow that down and then make sure they don't use all that time in half court. So that way they don't have a chance to, execute their plays. So we're trying to get them off. We do a lot of switching defenses in the middle of the play. It usually happens out of timeouts, but we also use it outside of timeouts too, which, we work on practices. Okay, we're going to say, okay, 22 back to 2 for our team. So 22 is our 2-2-1 3-quarter press, soft press, and goes back 2-3 zone. So we work on that, and then teams cannot react to it easily. And then in 2-3 zone, let's say we go after the second pass, we go back to 1, which is our man-to-man pack line defense. Excuse me. So those are the things that we do a lot in the game to win game within the game. So it gives a lot of advantages. Our actually guys enjoy it on defense then because it is something that, high schoolers, 16, 18, not used to as much. You do that in college a lot and in professional teams. I don't think they do in professional teams as much, but colleges teams do a lot of those to try to confuse other teams. So they can, let's say you call Mohammed, you have a team, you playing against my team, you call a play, okay, we're going to play 1 on our offense, which is your man play against our man-to-man defense. And then after you do 2 or 3 passes, you're running your man-to-man defense, we switch it to 2-3 zone defense. So now whatever you were doing, whatever call you made as a player, as a coach, it will not work again because we run a man-to-man offense against a zone defense. It happened in the middle of the play, so it stopped you from executing. So you confuse a lot of players. Are they going to face some really talented, really high IQ players? Yes, you will. But those are handful. It's not going to be as many. So they're not going to react to it as quickly. Remember, not all 5 players are going to be in the same mindset. Even sometimes you make a call, a man call, they mix it up anyways. So you do those confusion diversions in the middle of the game, and then you get the ball back or force a very bad shot by the other team. And that helps us a lot because we use that a lot as a strategy, usually during the late in the games, because, especially when other team calls a timeout. When the other coach calls a timeout, let's say we were playing man-to-man defense, and then he goes over play because they need to score and timeout to his players. They come out, and then we come out in let's say, man-to-man defense, but after the second pass, we go to 2-3 zone or 3-2 zone, wherever we do different defenses, and then it confuses them, and we get the ball back or, again, force a very bad shot. And, again, we win that battle. So it's very, very important to play small games while the game is being played because, everybody's going to have a strategy, offensive and defense strategy before they go to the games. You can have, for me, I always have 3 offense strategies and 3 defense strategies I share with my assistants that we brainstorm before the games. But I also have another one in back of my head on both sides that I don't share with anybody. I just know myself. I don't want to put more on my assistants or my players, just in case if I have to explore that. For example, last year in the semifinal game, quarterfinal game in the state tournament, we were playing the number 1 team in offense. They were averaging, this is high school basketball, they were averaging 78 points a game. It's a lot of points in high school basketball. In U.S., in our state, average is usually about 62, 64 points a game. That's why games are usually low to mid 60s. Their average is 78 points a game. They're a very high efficient team. They have multiple guards who are like 2 meter or up, who can shoot the ball, can handle, who's athletic. But they love freestyle of play, and they love fast breaks. So we stopped them from that. They were averaging 18 points a game in fast break points. We held them to only 3 points an entire game, and then from fast breaks. And then we held them to total of 45 points. It was lowest points they scored an entire year, and then we won the game by 12 at the end. So it was a strategy worked for us. It didn't work for other coach. He tried different things. It didn't work because every time he had a strategy, I had a counter to it. Because what I do is how, as a coach, again, it's one of the suggestions I would love to give every coach is you always try to beat your own team. So how do you get better on defensive end? So I am knowing what I'm going to do, how I can beat every single defense I have if I was an opposing coach. So I play those scenarios, myself and my coaches. So that way, if we see that, how do we react to that? What is our counter on defense? So it helped us big time. Again, this is something that I did not learn overnight. It took years and years to develop this because it's not easy to do. But, once you get a grip of it, I literally enjoy playing defensive strategy games because of it helps me big time on the court instead of offensive stuff. Because again, your best shooter who's averaging 30 points a game may not be on his day that day. Maybe score only 8 points. But on defense, you don't have to score. You can stop it. You can get a rebound. You can get a deflection. So those are the stuff that we work on in almost every day in our games. So, it's something that, again, I do tell every coach I talk to, again, you guys, anybody else here in Turkey, in the U.S., wherever, find a niche. What do you value as a coach? What is your keys? What do you want to do? What is important to you? As I shared a few defensive keys with you guys earlier in this talk, a rebounding battle, fast break points, and keeping teams under a certain field goal percentage are 3 keys I value the most as a defensive coach. Do I have a couple of things for offense? Yes, we do. But I usually, those 3 things, if you can win those 3 things, we had a good shot of winning every game, no matter who we play, no matter how big the other team is, no matter how quick the other team is, it doesn't matter. If I can win those 3 battles, we are always in the game. And again, I give an example of a team we played earlier who won the state title 2 years in a row, who has, again, high school team, who had 3 or 4 scholarship level Division I, Division II players in their squad that they destroyed everybody. They barely beat us by 2 points in overtime. And then we had the ball in our hands for the last shot at the end of the regulation to win the game. And we missed the shot, but it went to overtime. Didn't have to score it overtime. So, that helped us a lot because we won the defensive battle. We won those key points, or we were close to it. Maybe we were not 10-4 in the fast break. We were like 8-8 or 9-7. So those are things we played a lot and helped us a lot. Again, a lot of defense strategies you can do, a lot of things. But I always say, do not, you always want to be good at 2 or 3 things on defensive end. You cannot be a great in one thing and then average in everything else because you will not win games. You want to make sure that you have, strategy-wise, and then you work on practices and everything. You want to focus on several things that you want to be good at, but not in 10 things either. Because sometimes as coaches, we see a lot of things. I watch a lot of videos, a lot of clinics myself. I do this myself with other coaches here. Either I talk or I listen to other people to learn, and you get a lot of ideas. But do you want to use all of those? It's impossible. Impossible. Because I can show you, I have a playbook of thousands of plays. Am I going to show that to my team? It's going to confuse them. It's not going to get better. I pick about 5 to 10 plays every year, what I want to do with the person I have, and I focus on those on offense. On defense, what kind of defense I want to do? Do I want to be a pressure team, which I usually know within the first couple of weeks what kind of talent we have, and then what kind of personnel we have, and I try to mold that into what kind of defensive team I want to be. So those are the things we work on. Again, all these 1-3-1, 2-3-3, 2, man-to-man, pack line, full court, everything was great. But if you do everything, you will not be good. You may win some games, but you will never make a long run in the playoffs, in city, state, national, whatever the case is, tournaments. You will not make runs because you are not good at one thing. You're just going to average on everything. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Question, Coach. How do you planning your defensive strategies weekly and monthly on your practice planning? How much % of your practice plan have to be defensive strategies to teach players?
So how much time I spend usually on defensive stuff in practice is usually about half hour to 45 minutes. We have about hour 45 or 2 hours practices per day. And then about almost up to 45 minutes on defensive stuff we do. And again, depending on if you have a game the next day, that could be even longer. But, week to week, day-to-day basis, about half hour, 45 minutes. And 45 minutes is about 15, 20 minutes of those individual stuff, like, one-on-one defenses, just slides, mentally and physically getting ready. And when we do the team stuff, it's the other half, about other 20, 25 minutes usually a day we spend.
I got it. And what's your expect of your assistant coach to help you in this defensive strategies?
So as a coach, as a head coach or assistant coach, you cannot watch everything. It's impossible to do that. So we share responsibilities. My assistants, I don't tell my assistants, I'm the boss, I'm the head coach. You do whatever I say. I never coach like that. That's the biggest mistake you can do as a coach, because you will not get better, you will not learn. I am, as a coach, I've been here for 15 years as a coach, I'm about half where I want to be, knowledge-wise. So I always want to pick up things. You never know who you're going to hear, what you're going to hear from. So assistants could give you an idea. It could work. You always got to open your ears and listen. So what we do is we share responsibilities. So my thing is, I always in defense, when we do half-court defense, let me just draw it up right here very quickly. Just a lineup-wise, where my coaches stay, which is kind of, again, it's silly, but it's something that it works for us. So if we, there's my marker. I can put my marker. Right here we go. I can use this guy. So if we are in half-court defense, let's say our guys are here playing defense, 5-on-5, defense. I, as a head coach, I am right here. I'm always under the basket, and I want to see what my players see. So I look at it from their view, because I see here, because they are facing the ball is here, they're facing the ball on defensive plays, and I'm here, so I can see and I can talk to them as a help defender in the back, and I can help. My assistant coaches, I always have one coach pay attention on ball defender. So who's guarding the ball? I have a guy here guarding me. So I have a coach, again, he could stay anywhere here, the coach, I'm going to put C for it. C is the coach, right here. He watches on ball defender. So his job is to make sure that whatever we're doing, are we doing pressure, are we doing denial, are we doing pack line off, whatever the case is, he pays attention to that, and he communicates with this player specifically one-on-one at all times. Ball goes here, same thing. Now he communicates with this guy. So his job is that. He does that in practices at all times. And I have another coach. Again, he could be anywhere. Again, I'm the only one here under the basket. He could be anywhere. His job, my other coach's job is to make sure he watches rebounding position. Shot goes up from here. what is these guys are doing on defense? What we teach, we go hit and turn. We don't hold. If you hold, the good offensive rebounds will go around you and get the rebound. We go hit, make a contact. So shot goes up, we make sure that we tell this guy here to go meet this guy halfway, hit him, and then turn to the basket. So my coach here makes sure that he looks into that, looks into what the rebounding position is, who's rebounding, who's watching the ball, and who is doing what. So these are two coaches always with me, do this, and I am the one that work on help defense, and then the rotation, defensive rotations, and then the communication in the back end. And then again, I have the third assistant, which he does not do much on this drill. Besides, he is the one usually organize the offense. So he basically does plays and then tell them what to do, when to do it. And then offensive players do that in practice, and three coaches work on defensive end to adjust and work on little aspects of the game.
Great. And how you improve communication in your defenses between players?
So that is, always not an easy task, because not everybody is getting more outgoing. So biggest thing in teams, your leaders, either your best players or your captains, whatever, or both, has to be the guys who talks the most. So I do have a lot of individual meetings with those guys, throughout the year. And I said, I need to count on you. I can as a coach. I believe in if I have to coach effort, which is talking and communication is in that, I have the wrong guys playing for me that year. So I believe in my job is to help you get better. Your job is to give everything you got, which means effort, talking, communicating on defense and offense, whatever the cases. So for that, I talk to those guys a lot. So that means, again, as coaches, let's say shot goes up, we make sure this guy yells shot. Shot goes up from here, he yells shot. If he doesn't yell shot, this coach lets him know, you gotta yell shot. It's right away. It's reactive, but we don't get caught up on it. We don't stop the practice and talk for 5 minutes. Or we don't yell or scream. You say, hey, Johnny, shot went up. You didn't say shot. What are you supposed to say? I'm sorry, coach, I yell shot. Great. Move on. Next thing. Shot goes up, he has to box out, right? So he tells him shot. Also, the bottom guy also have to yell shot because the help guy on everything, because he gets to see everything. And as a coach, I tell him to yell shot. So now we got two guys yelling shot. Everybody else, because you may not see the transition on defensive stuff, you may not be paying attention to the ball as much, and everybody else boxes out. So that's the piece that we do a lot of communication, and then we do several communication drills in practices. And that does help help our team get better communication-wise. I'm not sure if you guys know, there's a coach, Shaka Smart, who is head coach at the University of Texas. He was at Virginia Commonwealth University, which is another Division I mid-major university, and then they won a lot of games. He did a drill. Let me see if you can try to draw this up, because it's not an easy one to do. It's a communication drill. So he lines up. Let me try to figure this out quickly, because you can use it in practices. My board is not great, but try to figure it out. Try to clean it as much as possible. All right, so he has, again, this is the coach. I do that once in a while. I get in there. I'm right here. I'm guarding this guy. This is a practice drill. There's a guy here. There's a guy here, right? So he has the ball. I'm in help position. He passes the ball. As soon as pass goes to this wing, his job is to drive full speed at the rim, right? So what I do is my job, I teach, I have to hustle here and take a charge, right? I take a charge. Now, drill starts right there. And I have a coach here in half court with another basketball in his hand, right? What he does is, I'm right here. He he throws the ball. This is sideline. He throws the ball, bouncing to the sides. I have to get up and sprint and try to save this ball going out. I have to jump, get this ball, and pass the ball back to coach. Right? So I do that. Now I save that. After I save that, and there's another coach here with the ball, he rolls the ball out to opposite sides. He rolls the ball on the floor, and I have to chase this ball from here to here, dive on the floor, and get the ball and kick it back to the coach. So it's a shotgun smart drill. I learned this about 7-8 years ago. I use it time to time, try to give energy to my team, and then help them understand defensive and talking stuff. Because if I'm doing this, my teammate better talk, because I'm giving this effort. I'm taking a charge. I'm saving the ball from going out of bounds. I'm diving on the floor and passing the ball back to the coach. So I'm trying to have that energy and talk. And then, believe me, once I do this, all my team is fired up. They all want to do it. They all want to just see coach, 40 years old, coach taking a charge, diving on the floor. You know, I'm going to do the same thing. And then we get the guys going on that and they talk and get energy going. So that's one of the drills that we use in practices to help the communication piece, Mom.
Under the rim, who have to go to the sideline? The player who finished the ball?
So this one right here, you mean?
Yes, the coach going to charge.
I'm the coach, right?
Yes.
So drives, I hustle, and I take a charge.
Yeah.
I take a charge, I get up, and I sprint all the way to the half court, because other coach throw the ball, he's bouncing the ball to out of bounds. I have to get to that ball before it goes out of bounds. I have to jump and get it and pass the ball back in the game.
You as a coach, you have to do that?
Yes.
So?
Yes. And then I sprint from this side to the opposite side, to the other side. The other coach rolls the ball on the floor. I have to dive on the floor, get the ball, pass the ball back to the coach, or call a timeout, right? So this is it. Charge, save the ball, dive on the floor. A lot of energy, a lot of hustle, and defense.
Why coach have to do that?
Well, that's something that as a coach, you must lead, not just show. You can show, but if you lead by doing it, your guys buy into your system a lot more. They play with a lot more energy, and they understand what you're trying to tell them. Once I do this once, every other player lines up, they want to do it too. So they go in there, they do it.
After you doing, players have to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
They don't have to do it. I said, I'm going to do it. If you guys want it, everybody lines up because they fired up. Our coach was 40 years old, did this. Now I want to do it myself.
I got it. That sounds good. So another question from Ali's. Let me open his microphone. Ali.
Hi, Coach.
Hi.
Thanks for this helpful lecture. I want to ask, when you play pack-line defense, what is your strategy against pick and roll, high pick and roll, and side pick and roll? You stay in pack-line, or, for example, follow the screener in the out of pack line? I think there is a confuse the players between pack line and follow the screeners. I know what do you do about this strategy? Okay,
thank you for your question, Ali. It's a great question. So it comes with, it started who we're playing. Again, preparation is the key. What kind of player? So what we do is, depending on what kind of player we are guarding at that moment. So let's say I'm going to try to delete this and then try to draw it up a little bit nicer. So if, let's see, we are in pack line deep. Let's say ball is here, you have a guy here, everybody else in pack line. You're saying the ball screen comes here. How do you defend this? So depending on whose guy is it. It all depends on who this guy is, right? If this is a guy who's a really good shooter, this means that he's getting from outside 40-45% shooter from outside. We have to fight over. We tell this guy, you got to body him up, push him up the lane, don't get screened, and then go over the top. With the help defender here, just showing. He's not chasing the guy, he's just showing. Now he shows and gets back. So he stays with him. But that's one. Because this guy is a really good shooter, right? You have to pay attention. If this guy is a really good driver, let's say he wants to get to the lane, and he wants to go full speed at the rim. How do we defend this? We make sure that this guy, his defender, goes under the screen to meet him, and then our help side, whose man is screening, all he does is he puts his hand on the offensive player's, midsection. So he keeps him in front of the midsection and then extends his arm. He doesn't relieve. We never ever do a high hedge and chase a player all the way out here. We never do that because you're wasting time. And what's going to happen is you're going to create a bad matchup, which is good ball handler, guard, versus your big man who's trying to cover that in the ball screen. So we do a hedge. He's right on his hip. He got his hand, and he hedges hard. So this driver, he has to drive around to get there. It buys time to our defender because he can come and meet him right here in the middle before he gets into the paint and then stops that drive. So that is the other way. What if you're facing a guy who's a really good shooter and who's a really good driver? Now, that is, again, depending on what level you are playing. Professional levels, it's a little different because it's a little different defensive strategies. But college level kids and the high school level kids, it is something that you're going to see is we do a hard hedge. We have a play called fire. Fire means we trap every ball screen. So, if he has the ball, and this is a really good player, this only happens to really good players, remember, who's like a shooter and a good driver, so he's a complete package. We tell him, you got a hard hedge, you got to pressure up. So they try to trap that player there, and everybody else rotates. He rotates from here to the middle. He's right here. He's right to the middle. So this trap happens, again, depending on what we're going to accomplish. If you want to get a steal, you tell this guy to deny this ball too. If you want to, again, in the pack line, the elite question was pack line defense. We don't do that. So these guys stay, these guys trap just for one possession only. We don't trap all over the place, just one possession only. So that way he dribbles up or passes the ball out of his hand to some other player who's not as effective as he is.
Ali, you got it.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, hope you answered the question a little bit.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule for joining us, Coach Sercan. Hope see you in Turkey because it's difficult for us to come in there, USA. Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a good time. Have a good day.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it. Again, I enjoy basketball. We are coaches. We like talking about basketball. Again, I'll send some stuff that we talked about. There's all those sheets to Mohammed. Anyone wants to share, Mohammed, you can share that with anybody.
Thank you.
And then just stay in touch. Always communicate and always look to learn. Learning is never. If you start learning, is you stop being a human being. You gotta keep learning.
Yes, that's right. Stay safe, Coach. Stay safe, all coaches. Have a good time.
You too, and happy Ramadan to everybody.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.